Hello everyone, this is Genius Yoshi, and today we're streaming some Lorcana gameplay live. And the deck that we're going to be streaming today and highlighting is centered around Moana. So last week I presented another princesses deck centered around Moana, and that one was about battle princesses, using Moana's ability to ready all of our princesses when Moana quests in order to get them to perform challenges and remove threats off of our opponent's board after this challenge. Today we're trying something different. We'll still be playing a princess's tribal type of strategy, but this time we want to use Moana to ready our princesses to protect them from opposing challenges. So we're going to be playing a bunch of more squishy princesses that quest for a lot more. So let's begin our curve with Aurora, the Regal princess. It's just a 2/2 for 2 that quests for 2. We'll continue our curve. Actually, we'll also be playing a pair of minis. So these are 4-ofs. Should specify, since I'll be playing some slightly lower numbers of other cards. So Minnie is more of a combative princess, so we'll only be playing 2 copies of Minnie Mouse, just to hit a certain quota of princesses in our deck that are going to hopefully allow us to win the game. Then we'll also be playing in the 3-drop slot some copies of Jasmine Disguised. She's a classic 3/3 for 3 that quests for 2. So we want a lot of our cards to quest for 2 at least, with Moana questing for 3. There's also another sneaky little princess. That's Belle. So I'll be playing 2 copies of Belle since she has slightly weaker stats than her counterpart Jasmine, sitting as a 2/3 for 3. But she also has the ability to pay 1 to reduce the cost of our items. So we'll also be playing a few copies of an item, namely Lantern. So Lantern is an item that allows us to generate some to pay less, or 1 less for the next character that we play. Sorry, we have an intruder in the video. The intruder will be taken care of. Card gameplay on the table is too appealing for a cat. So I'll continue our deck list, and that's how you know that this is live, with 4 copies of Ariel. Ariel is another 2-quester, this time as a 3/4 for 4. So we have our line with Aurora, Jasmine, and Ariel, all 2-quester princesses. Now we're going to wrap up our princesses lineup with Aurora, the Dreaming Guardian. Another 4 copies of Aurora. A 2-questing princess that gets to shift on baby Aurora if we want to. And now we just need to complete the list. So we're going to be playing 3 copies of Develop Your Brain. Just a very solid card draw spell. Running out of place to put the Develop Our Brains. Develop Our Brain mostly goes into the ink pool, but later in the game you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 to your hand and the other 1 at the bottom. Also good if you're missing something and you have nothing else to play on turn 1. Or just to complete a turn where you have 1 free ink to play. Very useful there. We're playing the signature removal spell of princesses, Let It Go, which can be sung for 4 ink, or sung by a character with 5 ink cost, namely our Aurora or Moana, and allows us to put chosen character in that player's inkwell face down. So good removal spell, especially when you can sing it, so it doesn't cost you your entire turn to play it. Then we'll be playing 4 copies of Hades to bring back a creature from the discard pile back into our hand, and 2 copies of Big Stitch, because we need a big drop. And this time I'm actually playing Stitch to quest. So the 3 The 3 lure on the Stitch is what I'm after. Just trying to end the game with a big quest. Also, fairly reasonable stats for a 6-drop. And there we have it, a 40-card list for questing princesses. Note that since we're early in spoiler season, I'm only playing a 40-card deck. In order to make the deck structure more consistent and allow us to showcase the power of certain cards. Furthermore, I'm playing the game with proxies because the real cards are not released yet, and that's the only way to produce gameplay videos other than purely digital versions. But please support the official released product once it does release. I certainly will. And now let's move on to some gameplay. And let's start by shuffling these cards. Ooh, that was a bad shuffling tactic. Don't want to get some cards upside down. Messes up your sleeve structure. I hope that you're all as eager as I am to see these princesses in action. I do have an opposing deck at the ready over here. This one's already pre-shuffled. Actually, maybe I should give this a good old power shuffle. I like 7 piles, 7 being in prime number. I'm not sure whether that makes any difference or not. Probably does not. But makes you feel like it's a local card tournament, just seeing the shuffling. Alright. That should be good enough. Just to show you I'm not actually stacking the decks, I'm going to randomly shuffle our opponent's deck as well. Alright, let's get this party started. Actually, let's see who goes first. We roll a 4, opponent rolls a 1, which means we will get a go first. We get a Jasmine, a Moana, Ariel, Develop Your Brain, Hades, second Develop Your Brain, and a Minnie. So Develop Your Brain's a good card to keep a 1 of. I don't really want Hades this early. Minnie is suboptimal in what I want to play in turn 2. I definitely want Moana, Ariel, and Jasmine. But I also need cards in the ink pool. So I'm going to keep Minnie. And if I can hit the 2-drop Aurora, I'll keep her. So I'm going to send the Develop Your Brain and a Hades back into the deck. And draw, 2-drop Aurora and a Moana. So 2 cards get shuffled in. So now we have the curve that we were looking for. And Minnie is going to go to the ink pool. Develop Your Brain is also most likely going to suffer the same fate. Let's see what our opponent draws. Opponent draws 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fire the Cannon, Prince Eric, a Mickey Mouse, Coconut Baskets, probably going to hit the bin. It's not a card you want that early in the game. Simba is too expensive. Smash. Either you keep the Fire the Cannon or Smash. I think I would send back the Fire the Cannon. It's a little too early and we don't have a hook. And Beast and Smash are actually decent. We have 2-drop, 3-drop, 5-drop. I'd keep those. Draw 3 more. Then there's Smash, Develop Your Brain, and a replacement Fire the Cannon. And that's why I wanted to send back the Fire the Cannon. Don't want to get into that awkward position where I don't have anything to throw into my ink pool. Alright. Let's place these hands. Oops. In a way that looks like a hand. And let's get this party started. We go first. We ink a Minnie. And I'm going to try this for ink. So we have 1 ink. We're going to play Develop Your Brain. Develop our brain is going to allow us to look at the top cards of our deck. We find a Belle and a Let It Go. Let It Go has a bit more use in the current hand, and Belle will go back to the bottom of the deck. So that I will most likely ink that Let It Go, but there's a slight chance that we'll want to sing it with Moana depending on what we draw. Pass the turn to our opponent. Opponent draws a Gantu. Way too early, Gantu. Opponent inks the Gantu. Reaches 1 ink as well. Our opponent plays Develop Your Brain, because that's the time of the game. There's a Gantu and there's a Smash. The Smash... Actually, our opponent already has 2 smashes. So Gantu will go to the top. Smash will go to the bottom. Turn passes back to us. We draw. We draw Hades. A non-inkable card. We will ink... Well, Moana is the centerpiece of our deck, so we'll ink a Let It Go. Bringing us to 2 ink. And we'll play Aurora. Regal Princess in attack mode. And pass the turn to our opponent. Opponent draws a Gantu. A lot of Gantus. So the opponent has to play Prince Eric. Oh, or fire the cannon here. So Eric's not... Yeah, Eric's actually slightly better than fire the cannons here, I think. His opponent will ink a Smash, because you don't need a fire the cannon and 2 smashes. It's a bit too much. Opponent will play Prince Eric, hoping to challenge Aurora, if we do choose to quest with her. And that's the idea. Prince Eric is a slightly more ink efficient play at this time in the game. And the fire the cannon can be really played at any point in time. And just removing Aurora right now doesn't do as much as keeping Prince Eric, which can then challenge Aurora and survive. Turn passes back to us. We draw. Aurora, Dreaming Guardian. Now this is interesting. We could choose to ink Moana. Well, we will have to ink Moana, getting us to 3 ink. Now we could shift Aurora on top of the smaller Aurora and start questing. Or we can play a Jasmine and just develop our board. And I think in this particular deck, I want to go wide more than I want to go strong. So I'll play a Jasmine using my 3 ink, and now I have a 3/3 for 3 on the board. Pass the turn back to our opponent. Opponent draws another fire the cannon. Our opponent's a bit low on ink. I think Gantu has to go to the ink pool, unfortunately. Well, it is early in the game, so I guess that's what Gantu is mostly going to end up doing. Now the opponent, probably Mickey's. Mickey's, take the top card of the deck into the ink pool, bringing our opponent to 4 ink. And then Eric can't quest because Jasmine would take out Eric. For the same reason Aurora couldn't quest, because Eric would take out Aurora, so we are at a standstill. And turn passes back to us. We draw. We draw Let It Go. Good piece of removal, not exactly what we're looking for right now. I think we want to send Let It Go into the ink pool. Although we are facing a ramp deck. Yeah, let's ink Let It Go anyways. And on 4, we get to play Ariel. We can't really quest... Well, we can quest with Jasmine, and Eric would have to trade with Jasmine, but that's not our game plan here. Our game plan is to play good old Moana to protect our princesses. So there's no real good quest that we can do here. So let's pass the turn. Opponent draws. Develop your brain. Sorry. Handle's a little too high. think my camera's been moving a bit, but it matters not. Alright, so our opponent has a pair of fire cannons, a smash, develop your brain, and the beast. What does our opponent want to do? On 4, well, develop the brain is going to go to the ink pool, bringing our opponent to 5. And I think our opponent just wants to smash things. So, fire the cannon will take out Aurora. And smash will take down Jasmine. And our opponent will hold back last point of mana. If Mickey quests, our opponent can trade Boat. Opponent kind of wants to prevent us from questing, so Mickey will quest for 1. Trying to bait Ariel to attack Mickey, which might actually be a good move on our part. Turn passes back to us. We draw another 5-drop Aurora that will send into our ink pool, bringing us as well to 5 ink. With 5, we get to play Moana. Now, if we challenge Mickey, Eric can come in and trade with Ariel, which leaves us with Moana on an empty board. Not exactly where we want to be. So I think we just let Mickey do his thing and pass the turn back. One draw is Coconut Basket. Based on what our opponent is playing and the cards we have on the table, I think that goes into the ink pool. And the opponent will pay 5 to play the beast. Since that worked out so well last turn, Mickey is going to quest, bringing our opponent to 2. Lore. And turn passes back to us as we draw a Jasmine. Do we want any more ink is the question. I don't think we want to quest just yet. Simply because Moana is going to get destroyed. So let's just play the big Aurora, which is going to give ward to other characters. Always a good thing. And we'll pass the turn back to our opponent. Opponent draws a second copy of Fire the Cannon. And now that's slightly annoying for our opponent. As good as Fire the Cannons is, the only thing that our opponent can target is Aurora. And Aurora is still ready. So I guess the opponent just quests. Quest for 3. Going all the way up to 5. This turn passes back to us. We draw a second copy of Hades. At this point, we will ink Jasmine. Going up to 6, so we get to play Hades. And pick back up the 2-drop Aurora that we had sent to the graveyard slightly earlier. Hades allowing us to pick back up a princess. And we're going to pay our remaining 2 ink for Aurora. And now I think Moana starts to do some work. So we can quest with Ariel and Aurora, gaining 4 lore. We quest Moana for an extra 3 up to 7, and ready Aurora and Ariel. In this particular position, yeah. Do we want to challenge? That's the question. If we challenge Mickey, then Eric trades. But if Eric trades, then Moana lives. So Eric can't trade with Ariel as well anymore. So I'll challenge Mickey. Mickey goes down. Ariel takes 1 point of damage. And that's the interesting one. Do we want to challenge the beast with our big Aurora? I think so. Challenge beast. The thought behind it is that now if beast challenges Moana, then beast goes away. And our Aurora lives, and if our opponent wants to trade with Aurora, then either Eric or the beast has to challenge it. At least from our point of view, not knowing what's in our opponent's hand. And we'll pass the turn back. Opponent draws. Unfortunately, our opponent's hand is stock full of removal spells. So, it's going to be some time to fire the cannons. So, opponent, fire the cannons at Aurora, taking her out. Opponent. There's still that problem with the beast. So, opponent's going to challenge Moana with Prince Eric, taking only 1 point of damage, and Moana taking 3. Which means their opponent can now smash Moana to take her out. Smash dealing 3 points of damage to anything our opponent likes. And then I think the beast just wants to quest. Questing for 2. And fire the cannon's going to take out Aurora because it's too much questing power on the low card. And turn passes back to us. We draw another Moana. At this point, Hades trades with the beast. And Ariel takes out Eric, taking a single point of damage. And our questing princesses are now battle princesses, which is surprising. And with Sinks Ink, we go Hades, pick back up Aurora, and play Aurora, and try to apply some pressure on our opponent as we pass the turn back. Opponent draws a Prince Eric, which goes on the battlefield, and we take the turn. We're drawing Aurora. We're going to be playing Moana, the most ink efficient play. And then we can quest with Hades and Ariel, but I don't want to give up Aurora just yet. So we can quest for 3, up to 10. Passing the turn back, opponent draws a Mickey, plays the Mickey. Goes up to 7 ink. And Eric is going to be forced to challenge Ariel. And ironically, well, let's just say they challenge each other and go on a date to follow the movie. And the turn passes back to us. You ready? We draw a lantern. Not what we wanted to see, but we might as well play it for 2 ink as well as Aurora. Then we quest for Aurora. We quest with Hades, bringing us to 13. We quest with Moana, readying Aurora thanks to her ability. So we go up to 16. We pass the turn back to our opponent, who draws the beast. The beast comes in, blows up the lantern. Kind of in vain, but that's... The beast just rages sometimes. Whenever it enters the battlefield, destroy target item. And then Mickey has nothing much to do, so Mickey will quest. Turn passes back to us. We draw. We quest, and we win. That is game number 1 in favor of the questing princesses, which ended up fighting a lot more than expected. So let's see how they fare up with game number 2. And at this point in the video, I'd encourage you to write a comment as to what do you think about the way I'm using the ink pool with little black dices on the right hand side. I feel like it takes a bit less real estate on the screen and allows you to still see just very well how much ink there is remaining. Maybe I could even push that a little bit. I forgot to re-sleeve one of the deck into the other color. So both decks are playing the same colored sleeves currently. Thankfully, the cards have their own different colors, so there is no mistaking cards from one deck from the cards in the other, except that both decks are playing blue. I mean sapphire. Yes, sapphire. Alright, I will deem this shuffled enough. And reset the lore total. I'll shuffle our opponent's deck. Double shuffling for more success. And I guess better gameplay. Also, please write in a comment whether you're fine with 40 card decks, and agreeing with me that it makes for more consistent strategies until we get more cards released. Or whether you'd like me to force 60 card decks in order to follow the rules more closely. I think the 40 card decks are a bit more representative in terms of the power level, but there are certain cards like Stitch or Friends on the other side that become a little bit too powerful. Time for a sip of water. And game number 2. Our opponent gets to go first since they lost the game. Mickey, Simba, Beast, develop your brain. One jump ahead, fire the cannons and develop your brain. So fire the cannon's going to go away. Simba is going to go away. One jump ahead into Mickey Mouse actually adds a lot of ink though. So maybe we keep the Simba. Keep the Beast, keep the Simba. Keep one develop your brain, which is slightly better than a mulligan card. And I'll send these two back. We get Hook and a Beast. Shuffling the other two cards back into the deck. Now let's format this as a hand. Magic formatting. Yes. Alright, and what do we draw? We draw Lantern, Ariel, Aurora, let it go, let it go, let it go. Develop your brain, and Aurora. So, either we want to rush with the Lantern into Ariel, or we want to go Aurora into Ariel. We'll keep it develop your brain. I think I'd rather send the Lantern back. And we'll keep one let it go. Yeah, I think I'd rather send one Lantern back, because if I draw a second one, I'm in a bad position. For the same reason that we're only playing 3 Lanterns in the deck, we do not want to draw too many of those in this particular deck. So draw Minnie, Hades, and another Let It Go. Cards that are mostly going to go into our ink pool, and Hades just going to be providing value. As we've seen last game, Hades pretty much just winning the value game, allowing us to get a few more cards than our opponent to take over the game. Alright, opponent goes first. Oh yes, we need the ink card. So Beast is going to go in the ink pile. 1 ink. And our opponent's going to develop your brain. It's time to draw. And it's a coconut basket and Prince Eric. Eric is the better play at this point, although we do have a ton of brain. So maybe a coconut basket. They're probably either going to end up into the ink pool, but we already have a... Oh no, we'll want to sing one jump ahead. Sorry. We're taking Eric. Coconut basket's going away. Turn passes back to us. We draw Moana. Moana's a good draw. We'll play Minnie into our ink pool and develop our brain. The opener of choice, as we see a 2-drop Aurora and a Hades, and we have to take the Aurora just to make sure that we have enough stuff for our ink pool Also, Hades is better later in the game. I have nothing else to play for 1, so pass the turn. Also, we've already used that ink. Opponent draws a smash. The opponent wants to play Eric now. Hook can't go in the ink pool. Beast and Simba want to stay, so Smash will go in the ink pool. Eric will go to the battlefield. And the turn will pass back to us. We draw a Stitch. It's too early for a Stitch, and we don't have ramp. So let's send Stitch to the ink pool. It's part of its main purpose in life in this deck. And we'll get to play our 2-drop Aurora. Start applying some questing pressure. Well, not really, because Prince Eric is holding her back. Opponent draws a Smash. Smash is a good card to put in the ink pool. Opponent will sing 1 jump ahead. 1 jump ahead. So put the top card of your inkwell face down into your ink exerted. Opponent is at 4 ink. This one can't be used this turn, so our opponent's still on 3 active ink. Just enough to play Mickey Mouse, which has essentially the same ability. Take the top card of your deck and put it in your ink pool. Exerted. Opponent is now at 5 ink to our 3 ink. That's some serious ramping going on. But for now, the turn passes back to us as we draw a 2-drop Aurora and immediately send her into the ink pool, going up to 3. Don't have anything to play for 3 exactly, so we'll have to settle for a 2-drop Aurora. And we'll pass the turn. Opponent draws. Fire the cannons. That's about the best draw our opponent could have gotten. Because for 5... I think your opponent just goes fire the cannon on the Aurora. Take her out. And 4 remaining ink... plays Captain Hook to pick back fire the cannon, adding it back into their hand. Value play right there. Opponent shouldn't ink anything, but there's an opportunity to quest with both characters. Opponent's at 2. 2 lore. We draw. Belle. Belle's not exactly what we want, so she'll go into the ink. And for 4, we're going to play Ariel. Let's continue with our plan to overwhelm our opponent with princesses. As we pass the turn back, one draws, Smash. Another removal spell. That Smash doesn't hit very well right now, so Smash will go to the ink pool. Allowing your opponent to fire the cannon, taking out Aurora yet again. Fire the cannon being super effective at that roll, and your opponent still has 5 to play Beast. Applying a ton of pressure. And now our opponent can just quest with everything. Quest for 3. Going up to 5. Turn passes back to us. We draw Aurora. It's too late for Aurora. She goes to the ink pile. We go up to 5. And on 5, I think we can let it go to Beast and take out Prince Eric. Just remove some of the pressure that our opponent's putting on. I would prefer to sing Let It Go, but I don't think we're going to get an opportunity. So let's let it go, Beast. I will let you go into the ink pool. And Ariel's going to challenge Eric. Because an exerted Eric is ready to be taken out. And we'll pass the turn back. Opponent draws a Mickey. Now for 7, we've asked for it. Our opponent is going to play Simba. Simba the Powerful. A 4/6 quest for 2 that challenges as a 7/6. Opponent's going to challenge Ariel with hook. Hook will take 3. Ariel will hit the bin. Then Mickey is going to quest. Pesky Mickey is just keeping on questing, generating a ton of value. Turn passes back to us. We draw the 2-drop Minnie. 2-drop Minnie is not exactly what we're looking for. And we're on 5. I think we need to try and take out... Yeah. So let's be efficient. Let's play Moana. Keeping up, let it go for next turn for the Simba, unless her opponent plays a bigger threat. Pass the turn back. Opponent draws a smash. It's not a very good time to play a smash. So the opponent's going to start with a Mickey, since there is no downside to it, going all the way up to 8 ink. Then there's nothing for opponent to challenge, so I guess it's questing time. Questing for 4, up to 10. I tell you, once people start questing, the numbers add up really fast. Turn passes back to us. We draw. Another let it go. So Moana can only ready your other princesses, unfortunately. So she won't ready herself if she sings. But I have to let it go. Take out Simba. Let it go, Simba. You go into the ink pool. Opponent is at 9. 9 ink. And Moana is in a good position to challenge Captain Hook. Yeah. She'll take 3. No, actually, Moana should quest. Our opponent doesn't have good damage on her. So let's quest for 3. And we'll pass the turn back. Opponent draws Gantu. This is going to hurt. So our opponent will just play Gantu, which means that character that costs 2 or less can't challenge your character. So we can't challenge the Mickeys now. Well, we can with Moana. We can't with the characters that we don't have. Opponent is going to quest for 3. Getting close to ending the game. And turn passes back to us. Can we come back from this? We draw a lantern. So not like that. I think our only move is to ink a Minnie, play Hades, pick up Aurora, play the 2-drop Aurora, and then play our favorite spell, Let It Go, Gantu. We're also going into the ink pool as we sing it with Moana because we are out of ink. Opponent is now at 10 ink. As we pass the turn back, opponent draws, develop your brain. Opponent plays develop your brain, looks at a Gantu and a beast. We'll take the Gantu. And opponent will also cast the Gantu, questing for 3. Opponent's now at 16. Turn passes back to us. We find another Hades. Oops, and I forgot we are at 6 ink. We can do the same trick and go Hades for Aurora. Picking Aurora back up from our discard pile. But then we need to stop our opponent questing for 4. Oh, and we can't. We can't because Gantu is preventing our Aurora from challenging. So this Aurora cannot challenge, so she might as well quest. This Hades and this Aurora are from this turn. They only have 4 power. Oh no, we can. We can. So Hades can challenge a Mickey. Take it out. Taking 1 point of damage. And Aurora has to challenge Captain Hook. Taking Hook out and taking 3 points of damage in the process. And we will live to see another day. Well, another turn, that is, at least. Opponent draws another Gantu. Opponent plays the Gantu. As we frown in despair. Opponent quests for 3 up to 19. I think we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's no way we're gonna come out of this. So it's our turn. We draw. Develop your brain. Well, let's try it. Develop our brain. Top 2 cards. We find a Jasmine and a Develop Your Brain. We will take the Developer our Brain, trying to find a better answer. We will play it. Can we find the last copy of Let It Go? We can find the last copy of Let It Go. We now have 4 inks remaining, which doesn't help very much. We do have Let It Go. Our Auroras cannot challenge, but our Hades can. Alright, so double Hades are going to challenge the Gantu and trade with it. Moana will sing Let It Go and send Gantu into the ink pool. And then we have to take both Auroras and challenge Mickey Mouse. Each Aurora will take 1 point of damage and Mickey is going to hit the bin. And we still have ink, so we might as well just play our lantern. And we pass the turn back. Opponent draws a Prince Eric. Prince Eric hits the battlefield. Opponent is going to smash Moana. Moana goes out. It's our turn. Oh, I mean, we gave it a good effort. We quest for 4. But our opponent has drawn a creature, and there's nothing we can do as we pass. And Eric, on his glorious ship, quests and finds the Heart of Ursula to win the game 20-9. And that was a pretty cool game number 2. Using the questing princesses, with singing a lot of Let It Go. Because sometimes that's what you have to do. Believe in the heart of your deck. I didn't say this. Can I cut this while editing? It's a joke. Nothing like making good references or bad references to other trading card games. Well, in any case, I hope that you've enjoyed these gameplay videos and enjoyed the questing princesses. Please leave a comment telling me what you think. In particular, what do you think about this way of tracking ink? Is it a nice addition that keeps things simpler on the board? Let me know in the comments. Please drop a like, subscribe to the video, and I will see you next time.